Hi, my name is Burton White, and we had the allegory of the cave. It is also called the analogy of the cave, myth of the cave, metaphor of the cave, parable of the cave, and Plato's cave, and was presented by the Greek philosopher Plato to compare the effect of education and the lack of it on our nature. It is written as a dialogue between Plato's brother Glaucon and his mentor Socrates. Plato has Socrates describe a group of people who have lived chained to the wall of a cave all of their lives, facing a blank wall. The people watch shadows projected on the wall from objects passing in front of a fire behind them and give names to these shadows. The shadows are the prisoner's reality, or the lowest level of Plato's divided line. Socrates explains how the philosopher is like a prisoner who is freed from the cave and comes to understand that the shadows on the wall are not reality at all, for he can perceive the true form of reality rather than the manufactured reality, that is, the shadows seen by the prisoners. The inmates of this place do not even desire to leave their prison, for they know no better life. Plato begins by having Socrates ask Glaucon to imagine a cave where people have been imprisoned from childhood. These prisoners are chained so that their legs and necks are fixed, forcing them to gaze at the wall in front of them and not look around at the cave, each other, or themselves. Behind the prisoners is a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners is a raised walkway with a low wall, behind which people can walk carrying objects or puppets of men and other living things. The people walk behind the wall so their bodies do not cast shadows for the prisoners to see, but the objects they carry do. The prisoners cannot see any of what is happening behind them. They are only able to see the shadows cast upon the cave wall in front of them. The sounds of the people taking echo off the walls, and the prisoners believe these sounds come from the shadows. I am going to now turn it over to Rachel to give a brief introduction and explain how this philosopher in particular defines wisdom.
Hi, my name is Rachel Burdyshaw, and our primary source was Plato's allegory of the cave. Its purpose is actually to teach people about different perceptions, and that is one of Plato's many wisdoms. The story itself, many of you will already know because many of you have had worldviews at Bryan College. But a brief synopsis is that it is about prisoners that have been in a cave since their childhood, and all they have been shown is shadows of things in the real world until one of them actually leaves and goes up and sees the real world for himself and is very overwhelmed by everything he sees, and so he decides to return to the world that he is comfortable with and tells everyone about it, but they don't really believe him, and kind of just in the end, we learn that everyone's perception is different, and that's basically the whole story. But it's really an interesting story that makes you think about the philosophy and think about the wisdom of everything Plato taught. And I'm going to turn it over to the rest of my group to kind of tell you about what Plato's wisdoms really were and what he thought about this exact allegory of his cave.
Hi, I'm Sarah Moore, and Plato defines wisdom, based on the source, as perception and the constant search for knowledge. How, where, and when does Plato think you can find this wisdom? To find this wisdom, you actually have to actively search and look for it.
Hi, I'm Burton White. Why did Plato's students want wisdom, and what is its value, and how will it affect some particular change? They wanted wisdom because it played a huge role in Athenian society, and its particular change is that perception will differ in different people, and it varies from individual to individual.
Hi, I'm Savannah Rains. The end result of this was that everyone has gained a different perspective based on the amount of wisdom they were given as they were growing up.
This was our group's mediocre drawing just to get a better visual of what was actually going on in the cave.